Halt right there. Suddenly, an icy voice rang out from behind. Shu Hai turned his head, only to see that large black dog fixing its canine eyes upon him with an unwavering stare. These eyes no longer held their previous eerie and sinister quality, but instead brimmed with human-like anger. The voice, too, was no longer that of the black dog. It had become the mountain god's. Shu Hai felt his mind go blank with a boom. At this moment his thoughts raced wildly as he stammered, "Mountain god you! How did you become a dog? This sovereign has already performed soul possession. Is this term not in the inherited memories you received?" The black dog stared at him, its voice devoid of any discernible emotion. Regarding Shu Hai, the demonic wanderer was furious to the extreme, wanting nothing more than to slaughter him immediately. If not for Shu Hai having received his memory inheritance, making him half a disciple, he would have struck already. Soul possession. Shu Hai was startled at first, but quickly comprehended. He was not foolish, merely inexperienced and lacking in knowledge. Having never heard the term soul possession before, he now swiftly grasped its meaning. Shu Hai retreated several jang, his eyes filled with shock and anger as he asked in a low voice, "You're not the mountain god. When did I ever claim to be the mountain god?" This sovereign merely inhabited a mountain god statue. You made your own assumptions. What business is that of mine? The black dog sneered. At this moment, Shu Hai felt rage exploding within his chest, causing his breathing to become uneven. He had been deceived. To think that he had once offered sacrifices, kowtowed to the statue, and prayed for smooth cultivation. Yet in the end, there was no mountain god at all, just some cultivator who had appeared from who knows where. Despicable. Truly despicable. Shu Hai felt thoroughly duped. You impersonated a deity. Are you not afraid of retribution, of descending to hell after death? Shu Hai asked, burning with shame and anger. Retribution. The black dog seemed to have heard an extremely amusing joke, letting out a distinctly canine laugh. In the memories I passed to you, there was nothing about retribution. Hell is merely self-consolation for insects. How did such notions enter your mind? Look at that black dog digging up graves and stealing corpses, believing in neither gods nor evil omens. Now that's what my memory inheritor should be like. Speaking thus, he suddenly paused, staring at Shu Hai for a long while, sensing something amiss. Shu Hai stared right back at him, refusing to yield. After observing for some time, the black dog probed, "Have you heard of the demonic wanderer?" "What wanderer?" "A wandering corpse." "I always swallow mine whole," Shu Hai replied. The black dog's heart trembled violently. Though his memory inheritance contained limited information and no secrets, it definitely included his own title. Yet, Shu Hai clearly didn't recognize the name Demonic Wanderer. There was no such person in his memories. And this didn't seem to be an act. This snake hadn't received his memories. How was this possible? Then how had he achieved enlightenment? The black dog's heart surged with uncertainty. He stared at Shu Hai, finding him increasingly incomprehensible, until his intense gaze made Shu Hai somewhat uncomfortable. Shu Hai didn't want to deal with him. He had no idea of the soul-possessing cultivator's strength, but such techniques were certainly beyond his capabilities. The other must be somewhat stronger than him. Regarding such an unknown entity, Shu Hai was unwilling to provoke trouble. Without another word, he turned and slithered away. Watching Shu Hai leave, the black dog pondered briefly, then curved his lips in a cold smile and followed. Shu Hai increased his speed and the black dog matched it. When Shu Hai used earth traversal art, The black dog employed it even more skillfully. The two moved one before the other, inseparable, no matter how Shu Hai tried to shake his pursuer. One day later, Shu Hai returned to the vicinity of his territory. He turned back to look at the black dog and said, "This is my domain." The black dog sneered. "What of it? Your territory is off limits to me." Shu Hai felt both angry and helpless. He had tested the dog's speed for a day and discovered he simply couldn't shake him off. Clearly, its strength was unfathomable. He could only think to offer the dog some benefits to make it leave, preventing it from causing trouble in his territory. At this moment, the Wolf King came running from afar, carrying a mountain goat in its mouth. He eagerly ran up to Shu Hai, dropped the mountain goat, and squatted down with a fawning demeanor. Perhaps in his view, Shu Hai had already disposed of those detestable humans, and his heart was filled with fervent reverence. Perfect timing. I was hungry. Shu Hai nodded in satisfaction. This Wolf King possessed considerable intelligence, knowing to offer food without being taught. Shu Hai swallowed the mountain goat in one gulp and quickly digested it, feeling a wave of comfort throughout his body. The black dog watched him silently all this time, making no sound. Only after Shu Hai had finished digesting did he coldly say, "I'm considered half your master, yet you won't even offer me some tribute." Roar. Upon hearing these words, the Wolf King immediately growled with glaring eyes. The black dog narrowed his eyes, a fierce glint flashing within them. The Wolf King immediately retreated in fear, his legs trembling as he hid behind Shu Hai. Shu Hai hesitated for a moment, then said, "Wolves eat meat, dogs eat excrement. Wolf King, give him some droppings to eat." Hearing this, the Wolf King happily ran over, raised his tail, and prepared to defecate in front of the black dog. The black dog froze, and quickly his expression twisted to the extreme. He felt a towering rage surge straight to his crown, making his head steam with anger. He couldn't tell if Shu Hai was truly foolish or pretending, but this time it was clearly meant to deliberately provoke him. Die det now. He lunged forward, biting the Wolf King's thigh. A woo! The Wolf King let out a miserable howl, his thigh torn open and bleeding. He ran away on 3 legs, hiding behind Shu Hai while glaring viciously at the black dog, clearly displaying an attitude of a dog relying on human backing. The black dog was laughing from anger. It had been a long time since anyone had humiliated him like this, yet oddly, this snake didn't seem to consider it humiliation at all. In the past, he would have unhesitatingly harbored murderous intent, but now, having slumbered for 200 years with greatly diminished cultivation, there was no need to lower himself to the level of 2 beasts. The demonic wanderer had always been obsessive by nature, never giving up until achieving his goals. Shu Hai had provided him with a trace of long-lost amusement. "Disciple, do you know the consequences of disrespecting your master?" the black dog asked with a cold smile. Shu Hai had also realized that this black dog was all bark and no bite. If it wanted to teach him a lesson, it would have acted already, rather than putting on airs. Therefore, Shu Hai had nothing to fear. "I showed you no disrespect. Dogs naturally eat excrement," Shu Hai said calmly. "Oh, so you admit to being my disciple?" The black dog smiled coldly. Shu Hai's expression changed as he hurriedly protested, "I did not." I enlightened you and you kowtowed to me in discipleship ceremony. Your denial is useless. I am your master." The black dog laughed. Shu Hai immediately became anxious. He really didn't want to acknowledge it, but going round and round the other's words seemed to make some sense. "I won't fall for your tricks." Shu Hai let out a sharp cry and fled. The black dog's smile grew even more smug as he followed,